What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Two Game Podcast. I am Matt Primo, joined by Chris Norman.
That's me. What's up, guys?
Welcome on back. This is episode 135. So, on this week's episode, we felt, and by we, I mean Chris, has been playing some Final Fantasy VII Remake. And, Rebirth is coming out next month, almost 1 month to the day that we were recording this. And we figured it's time to kind of recap and go back over some Final Fantasy VII Remake stuff while also previewing Rebirth for y'all next month. But on top of that, we also going to be talking about Persona 5 Royal. Got some news about that, so just stay tuned for that, okay? And then, as always, we're going to be talking about our playlist and ending the episode, as per the normal, with our weekly recommendation. How are you on this fine morning, sir?
Pretty good, man. It's been a Tuesday. You show up, you have to put out 10 fires, and then you go off and hide somewhere in a room where no one can find you. So, it's all right.
It is the most Tuesday-ist Tuesday ever.
Let's have it. What happened?
Oh, no, I'm just saying. It's just bullshit, man. Okay. You finally catch up on some shit, and then it's like, oh, you need to get your car worked on. And you're like, God damn it, man.
Yep.
Murphy, do you fucking live at my house?
Then everything else in life just...
Yes. And I don't know whether to be turned on by that, what you just did or not.
Well, I mean, it's... I guess.
It's the slightest... It's the slightest touches nowadays.
It's got the length, I guess. Not the girthiest of pins, but it's a G2, so...
Yeah, good news is it's not like fucking freezing my balls off right now. That is because we recorded the Hobbit episode, and then I recorded an episode with Josh the other night for Oppenheimer, and let me tell you, fucking cold in this fucking garage.
Oh, dude, because you did that when it was, like 26 outside?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nope.
Dedication, sir.
That's your commitment, man. I'd have been like, sorry, Discord. I'm out for a week. I'm good.
Deuce.
Yes.
So, yeah, if you haven't been following along, we are doing a deep dive. Not Chris and I, but me, Creston, and Nick. We are doing a deep dive into the Lord of the Rings franchise. I've already done the OG trilogy. You can go search for that. That is on our YouTube and anywhere you listen to your podcast at. Now we are going to be reviewing the Hobbit trilogy. And then once we are done with that, we are going to cap it off with the Rings of Power. So by all means, go check that out. Really having a lot of fun with deep diving into the movies, using the books to kind of expand on the lore of Middle Earth. So definitely go check that out. Like, subscribe, do all that bullshit. Really, really helps us out. So thank you so much. But sir, let's go ahead and jump into our playlist, okay? Personally, my playlist isn't very big, okay? Among other things. But you said you've been watching a lot of anime, so let's jump into the fucking anime, and then I'll say the 5 things that I've been watching.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I texted you about, or I put something in Discord about it. I started Food Wars over when I finally found the 5th season, somewhere that I could watch it dubbed. Every time I watch that show, I forget how much I love that show. I could start it over again today after watching it like 3 weeks ago and just not skip a single episode. That show is fantastic, and oddly enough, it has bled into my personal life. I have started cooking random things from the show and serving them to my wife, and I'm going to see how long it takes her to figure out that her gourmet cooking is coming from an anime series. But so far, we're 3 for 3, so that's been fun.
She'll never know.
She'll get, yeah, she's already started dropping hints, like, where the fuck are you getting this at? And I'm like, yeah, just, creativity, you know?
I mean, when you got it, man.
Yeah, I see the ingredients, and I taste it before I cook it, you know? But it's whatever. It's been a lot of fun.
It all comes to me.
Yes. The Eminence in Shadow Season 2, finally watched it after it was all dubbed, and I won't continue to dive down that well because Christian's already told you guys how good it is, but everything he said, 100% true. If you haven't watched it, watch it. Oh my god, it's so good. It's psychopathic Kirito in a world that You couldn't you could never imagine it without seeing it. I won't even try to describe that universe. It's wild and wacky, but amazing at the same time. um, Knocked off a couple one-off shows that I just had listed and then never watched. High School of the Dead. I didn't know it was only one season when I started it, and it's obviously probably never going to continue because it was from 2010. But pretty cool, honestly. Like an anime Walking Dead that is comical and rated M for mature. Not bad.
Ooh.
Solid 13
Uh,
episodes.
I love how you're now officially diving into like the into the anime that like nobody's ever heard of.
Oh, 100%, man. 100%. I Let me just back up a second. I hate that I didn't actually have the discussion with Christian and I just heard it on one of y'all's podcasts, but I have been trying for 2 years to recommend a show to him. And of course, I made it like a mission, like my life's mission. And of course, everything I've ever recommended, he's either seen or heard enough about that he doesn't want to watch. And then I find out from the episode 2 weeks ago that he had never seen Eden Zero. I was like, man, what the fuck? Like, I watched that show like a year ago, and I just assumed he had seen it already. And I was like, that was my shot. That was my one shot. Now it's never going to happen again.
Womp womp womp. Yeah, I'm
Whatever.
telling you, Christian has watched a lot of fucking anime. A
I know,
lot.
but I finally had one, damn it. I finally had one. It's alright. Uh, let's see. Chivalry of a Failed Knight. I watched it. I'm not going to talk about it.
No.
No. I've got about 5 episodes left in season 2 of Arifureta. Um, this show started off real bad. Like, real bad. It started off as just, like, the most typical isekai story you've ever heard of. Like, this group of high schoolers get summoned to this, like, magical world to fight beasts or monsters and demons and shit. But it's very base plotted at first glance. But after about 5 or 6 episodes, the main character kind of breaks off and does its own thing, and the plot just opens wide up. It actually turned into a very good show. There's 2 seasons out now, and I've got about 5 episodes left in the second season. And from season 1, episode 5 to season 1, episode 9, it went from like a 4 to like a 7. Like, it just exponentially got that much better, that much quicker. And that's about it as far as series. I did watch the first dubbed episode of Solo Leveling. And
Ooh.
I wasn't kidding in Discord yesterday. I was supposed to have a Zoom call, and then I found out that it was up, and I was like, guys, I'm not going to make that Zoom call. Sorry. I'll just, I'll get the notes after. You can give me the cliff notes. And I locked myself in the office and watched it. So good.
It was really good. It was really good. And I think they did a good job of, because I've read that first volume of the manga, and they ended it on a like the best part that they could have ended it on to get you fucking hyped for the second episode. That was the part. Like,
yes,
it was
they
a
did.
really good episode.
I'm going to struggle with that one. If a lot of anime shows, especially in the first season of an adaptation from a manga, will do that. They will end on an episode cliffhanger, and I'm really bad about screw this, I can't wait, and then I'll just watch the next subbed, and then I'll just completely just watch it sub from there on out because I'll get caught up and not want to wait 3 weeks at that point for the next dubbed episode to come out. So I'm gonna try real hard. I'm gonna try real hard because the voice acting was fantastic.
It was. Chris Abbott is he's playing one of the characters. I don't know if you noticed it.
Oh, I
He was
did.
the only he was only the bigger time actor that I saw on the cast list.
I didn't get it. I actually meant to go back and look it up. I recognize the main character. I recognize his voice. I just don't know from where. But it's just like that soft, mellow tone that can get really, really. I know he can get really, really angry and hype when he needs to because I've seen him do it somewhere else. But I just can't think of who else he played off the top of my head.
So according to Christian and a lot of people that I have talked to about this episode or the series, episode 2 is where it's fucking at. So I am. Sir, whatever you did to that cup, turn me to fuck on.
I spilled coffee and I didn't want to spill it, so I licked it off the rim there. Gave the
Sir,
coffee cup the old rim job.
I see why. I see why you're married.
I'm a man of few talents, but I excel at what I excel at. You know.
Hey man, we all have our skills in life. It's fine.
Yeah, coach always told me you could be good at a lot of things or you could be great at a few. So,
Fact of life, right there.
yes.
That and it's all about angles. Those are the two facts of life.
That's how you get great at a few.
So yeah, Solo Leveling. I thought the first episode. I'm gonna phrase that. The first dubbed episode is really good. Get you hyped for the episode 2. And like I mentioned, Christian, everybody that I've talked to says episode 2 is exponentially better than the first episode. Gory as shit, according to Christian. So I'm waiting for that Sunday, dude. Sunday, I think the Sunday when it comes out, if I'm not mistaken, versus Saturday. I can't remember, but it's one of those days. But I have one question for you.
Okay.
So I don't know if you saw it, but they are like not necessarily rebooting it. I guess you can call it a reboot. I don't know what the whole thing is with it. Let me see if I can pull it up while we're actually recording. That is going to be a One Piece remake. Have you heard about this?
You mean the live action one?
No. This is it's going to be for like Netflix, or I think it's going to be. So essentially they are remaking One Piece because it's like 1,000 episodes at this point, right?
Right.
So they're starting over from the very beginning. From what I can understand, I'm curious to you. Okay. Obviously, I'm not gonna watch this shit because it's a fucking 1,000 episodes. Okay, I'm not fucking committing to the long game here for sure. What about you? Have you ever been interested in One Piece and just got turned off by the episode count, or just not interested in the show whatsoever?
I've watched about 8 episodes of it because at one point I decided, like screw it. I'm not gonna watch 1,000 episodes back to back to back, but I might knock out a season and then watch something else and then maybe knock out another season a few weeks later or whatever. It just really didn't catch me. I mean, to be completely honest with you, now I get it. If it's 1,000 episodes, obviously it's a good show and it's probably a slow burn situation where you got to really invest yourself for maybe a half a season or a season to get attachment to the characters and whatnot, because character development is a lot better and faster now than it was 15, 20 years ago. But I mean, again, I wouldn't be opposed to give it another shot, especially if it was reanimated and, I don't know what goes into an anime remake. If it's a complete redo on the voiceovers and the animations are all upgraded, I'd probably try it again. I'm never going to swear to you I'm going to finish it because 1,000 episodes is 1,000 episodes. And to my knowledge, it's not done yet, right?
No.
Yeah, it's still going.
As far as I'm aware.
So
yeah, so this one's gonna be called The One Piece. Okay,
The One Piece.
Clever name. I mean, gotta give them there for originality for sure. So apparently they're gonna start over from the very beginning, and they're gonna fix some of the pacing issues and whatnot. So I'm curious, is this gonna be like a Dragon Ball Z Kai kind of thing?
Probably. I mean, if it's a fat trimming situation, you run the risk of either cutting out the wrong stuff or trimming too much of it off, which I don't necessarily know that Kai did that, but it wasn't the same. I mean, I can,
because that's what it sounds like. They're remaking it. I mean, that's what Dragon Ball Z Kai was. They did the voiceovers all over again, and they trimmed some of the fat off of it, made it a little bit leaner with the material. Look, if they're starting over, 100%, I'm going to check it out, and it gets released weekly. I'll watch it weekly, depending on how I like it or not. But as far as me jumping into the OG One Piece, you can go right and fuck yourself. Right on and fuck yourself.
See, I don't know, man. that's kind of one of the reasons that I actually started it and wanted to give it a shot is because I was like, you know what? I want to be that like 2% guy. I want to be the guy that when people say, "Yeah, I'm never fucking watching that," I can just so rudely rattle back with, "Well, I have, and you should." But then again, what if it's 1,000 episodes and it just sucks? You're like, that's my thing.
Exactly.
I don't mind sacrificing my time, but I gotta know I'm gonna want to do it. I don't know.
It reminds me of watching Supernatural. After I think it was on like episode season 13 or something like that. I'm like, you know what? A lot of people talk great about this TV series. Let me go fucking check it out. And then fucking 1 year later, I'm like, fuck, I'm finally caught up to the fucking show. It took me a year to catch up to that shit, man. That was a lot of fucking episodes.
It's like 16 seasons now?
Yeah, 15 or 16.
Jesus Christ.
The last season's shortened, if I'm not mistaken.
They're like 45 minutes apiece, though, aren't they?
Yes.
So that's like Smallville episodes. And 10 seasons was way too many for Smallville.
Yes.
I won't say way too many. Probably 8. I think 8 could have been.
They needed to trim like 2 seasons in the middle and get rid of them, and then just shift down, and then make season 10 better. You know, maybe not tease Darkseid for an entire fucking season, and then not even fucking give it to him. Oh wait, no, they did give us Darkseid. It was a goddamn cloud. But I fucking digress. Okay, I'm still pissed off about that shit.
Sorry guys, I forgot what I was doing there. That's on me.
Fuck, you just set me to fuck up.
No, that was accidental. Pokemon. What's that about? Pokemon.
Did you happen to watch or listen to last week's episode?
Yeah.
It was rant after rant after rant, and then fucking Christian starts ranting, and it was perfect, man. It was a perfect rant episode.
Sometimes you just got to get it out, bro. Sometimes you just got to get it out.
But no, Supernatural, dude. You know, a lot of people talk shit about it, about being the same thing every fucking episode. You know what? Y'all go fuck yourselves, okay? Because they're fucking funny, great characters. I don't give a shit that they're doing the same thing every episode. You know, what the fuck ever. I'm there for it.
Okay. I'm not going to judge you on that. I mean, dude, you're talking to the most easily entertained human being on the face of the planet. All right? You remember like 5 minutes ago when I completely dismissed the chivalry of a failed night show? I still enjoyed it. I just knew that normal people wouldn't enjoy it, so I didn't talk about it. But no, I've only seen the first couple seasons of Supernatural. I got out of it while it was coming out and just never looked back. It's not that I hated it. I just kind of forgot about it.
I'm just throwing this out to everybody. Greatest episode of TV of all time is in Supernatural. Scooby-Doo episode. I will die on that hill.
That's a bold claim. The greatest
no TV show has a better
show
episode. Ever.
Battle of the Bastards.
Battle of the which one? And Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
No.
Huh.
No.
Scooby-Doo, huh?
Ozymandias, which is heralded as the greatest episode in TV history. Okay? I've seen articles about this, how it always gets claimed as the best episode of any TV show ever. It's from Breaking Bad, for those out there uninitiated. While that is probably the best live action one, okay? It's pretty close. But Scooby-Doo episode of Supernatural, fucking fantastic.
Okay. I can't contest that. I haven't seen it.
It's you should go watch it. So other than Soul Leveling, I watched The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, which I've already talked about, so I won't talk about it again. I am trying to kind of catch up on some anime. I realized that, a few weeks ago I talked about not finishing Black Clover, and I needed to do that. So I am slowly making my way through that series again. And I'm over here with Longer's just got his ass beat by Asta. So that's kind of where I'm at in the series right now. Again, I watched the episode and he's just like, I'll burn it into you. And he fucking whoops his ass into the crystal. And I'm just like, why did I ever stop watching the show? You know why? Because this is fucking great. This is fucking great. Um, it's a I can't remember where it is on my all-time favorite list. I want to say it's in the top 5.
Probably.
Um, yeah, it's so fucking good, guys. Like the characters are just
To be
it's
fair,
the
if
right. Do what?
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll
I
say
don't
it
cut you
has
off
like
mid rant.
it's not necessarily like the funniest anime that I've watched because it's not, but it's like the perfect tone to go with some serious stuff as well. Because like Fairy Tale has more of the more like the lighthearted comedic tone, and then it's like serious kind of takes a back burner to it. This one kind of balances it out a little bit better, I think. Just tones. I'm not saying one show is better
Sure.
than the other. I'm just
Yeah.
saying
No.
a
No. No.
tone.
You listen,
So
man.
I know you will disagree.
A man's opinion is his opinion. You don't have to mince your words around me. That's all good. You could tell me you fucking hate Fairy Tale, and I'll be like, that's fine. You're stupid, but I'm not gonna argue with you. It's okay.
I need to fucking finish Fairy Tale. The issue with Fairy Tale is I've I've gone so long without finishing it or watching it that I keep forgetting where I'm at in it. And then by the time I figure out where I'm at, I'm like, fuck, I'm tired, man. I'm ready to go fucking do something else. And yeah, it's just that's the biggest issue with going back to Fairy Tale. I always forget where the fuck I'm at.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, there's like 300 episodes of it, so that's easy to do. But if you ever don't go watch it for like a year and then just want to start somewhere, literally just start at the tournament every time. That's really you. We've talked about the characters enough that you know most of the back plots at this point, and that's all the first 3 seasons are, is getting to know the guild. And I mean, there's cool action fight sequences and stuff in there, but I mean, as far as the world plot of the show, it starts at the tournament and just builds from there.
I'm
As
gonna
far
do
as
it
Black
eventually.
Clover is concerned, if it's already a top 5 for you and you just watch the Asta Longris fight, then it's gonna. I want you to finish that one ASAP because I want to see how far it climbs. Because that really isn't a tournament, but I guess it kind of is. But that's also the part in that show to me that it really just starts. It's going from like a 7 to a 8 to a 9 over like 2 seasons.
Ooh. And I haven't seen the movie yet, and I'm fucking excited to see the movie.
The movie was good. The movie was real good. It wasn't ordinal scale good, so I don't want you to get your dreams crushed there. But it was for the Black Clover universe. It was very good.
It's hard to top Ordinal Scale, man. I think that's my favorite anime movie of all time.
I can't contest that, truthfully.
So yeah, eventually I'll finish Black Clover, and then I'll start making my way through some of the other anime that I've kind of fallen off over the years, and I need to fucking finish. The other thing that I watched was True Detective Night Country. Are you a True Detective fan?
Love the first season.
Didn't like the second season, though.
Like the Vince Vaughn monologue in the second season. Didn't even watch the third season.
Third season is way better than the second season. Way better.
Okay. I would go back and watch it. Honestly, I didn't realize until like 2 weeks ago that there was a third season because I was so disgusted by how bad the second season was, minus Vince Vaughn's monologue. So I was like, I'm never doing this again. But if you say it's better, I'll give it a shot.
No, I really enjoyed 3. It's a little bit closer to 1 than it is to 2, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
In terms of quality and storytelling. 2 is I think everybody can agree that 2 is not good. But 3 is really good, I think. It's not 1, but it's not 2. Okay? So just it's like right there in the middle. Worth watching.
'Tis the gooch.
It does. It tickles the gooch just like 2 fingers.
No, I said
just
it is the gooch. It is the gooch.
Oh, it is the gooch. It
Yes.
also tickles the gooch.
All right. I hope I understand that after I watch it. I hope that I finish it and I'm like, yes, gooch tickled. Yes, I get it.
So Night Country. The first episode got released. I have not watched the second episode, which got released a couple days ago from this recording. I was talking to Corey about it. Corey's one of our Patreon supporters. Thank you, madam, for the support, and you as well there for your support as well.
Always.
Yeah, I am interested in watching this new season. Like I didn't dislike it, but I also wouldn't sit here and say that I liked it by any means. It was one of those things where I think they did enough to kind of tease you a little bit, but I'm not attached to any of the characters in it. Jodie Foster is one of the main characters, and she's probably the most interesting out of the bunch. So I'm interested in finding out more about the characters for sure. But in terms of me just being like, oh no, I'm ready to fucking see what this person does, what this person
Mm,
does over the course of 6, 7 episodes, it's not there yet. The
okay.
setting, the setting is fucking fantastic. But to be fair, I'm a huge Alaska fan, so anything set in Alaska, I'm 100% there for. Especially when it comes to like horror and supernatural shit. 30 Days a Night, by the way, y'all should go check that shit out if you haven't. So with that being said, I'm gonna keep watching it, but if I had to say right off the bat, this season is closer to 2 than it is 1 and 3.
You said it's in Alaska?
Yeah, it's in Alaska.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That's a horrifying place.
Yeah, so they just had their last day of sun, so now they're doing what is it, a month and month 2 months of fucking night. So it's all night.
Huh.
Hence the name of the season, Night Country.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense upon further evaluation. Even so,
When I was talking to Corey, I got like vibes of The Thing. Have you ever seen The Thing?
Mm-hmm.
I got vibes of that towards the back end of the episode. I don't know. It's the story wise, it's just not grasping me just yet. Grant, it's the first fucking episode, so I understand. So I don't want to be overly critical, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and say, man, I'm just fucking super excited about the season now. It's kind of dropped my expectations a little bit.
still sounds interesting. You had me at Alaska at nighttime. I'm there for it.
Exactly. That's what got me. So listening, I don't think you've been listening to anything, right?
No. I've been trying to get caught up on, the podcast and whatnot. I think I've got about 20 minutes left of the Two Towers episode, so I'm not all the way caught up on Lord of the Rings deep dive, but I am loving it so far. I mean, it's very interesting. I love those movies. I've never read the books. I take that back. I read the Two Towers individually as a small child for a book report, but I was like 11, so I might as well have not read it. But
Return of the King episode 3 and 4.
Uh-huh.
That's where the series actually starts taking off for us. Like those are actually pretty good episodes, I think.
Oh well, I mean, I've enjoyed the first two. You guys have a good congruence. I love when there's a group on the podcast that hasn't been a group recording before, because you can always tell like the 20-minute transitionary period where everybody's getting comfortable, and then half an hour into the podcast there's like dick jokes. So I always appreciate watching the evolution. It's fun and it's just interesting material. I'm enjoying it. It's a good listen so far. But as far as music itself, no, not really. I just keep kind of my whole library on shuffle when I'm doing stuff and listen to music in the background, so it's nothing in particular. Probably nothing we've never talked about on here before, so I will listen to Sleep Token though. I'm tired of being so in the dark when y'all talk about it in the Discord. So I've decided that when I can actually commit time to sit and listen to music and appreciate it, that's what I'm going to do.
Well, let me be the one to guide you. Let me guide your cock for just a second, okay? Just let it happen. Sleep Token, listen to the new album before you listen to the other albums. And I know a lot of people out there be like, "Oh, that's the third album in a trilogy. You should listen to the first one first." Okay, true, but that's bullshit because the other two albums are slow as fuck. Okay, a lot of people. The first two albums are so difficult to get into. Okay, I actually, when I'm done recording this, I have to record the review for this week, which is the Sleep Token second album. This place
Mm-hmm.
will become your tomb, and it's my redo episode. I'm revisiting after falling in love with them versus when I recorded it the first time, and I wasn't a big fan of it. Um, Spoiler alert: I like it more, but it doesn't come close to the third album whatsoever. If you're trying to get into the band, the third album is where you want to go. But at the same time, don't expect there are other two albums to sound like the third album. So that's the caveat there.
So would listening to the best one first not ruin the other two for me then?
Well, you mean like once you listen to the third one, you're not going to like the other two?
I'm just asking. I mean,
No, that's 100% going to happen.
oh,
But but
okay,
if you listen to the first two, you might not get into them, and then you might not listen to the third album, which is where the fuck it's at.
all right.
The third album is top 5 all time for me, and it came out last year.
Like I said, I'll try it, but I'm not going to do it until I can commit to actually listening to it.
You need an hour, a full hour. Actually, if you just want to give one song a listen, it's 7 minutes of your time. Ascensionism, okay? Fucking Google that or YouTube that shit, Spotify, whatever the fuck you want to do. Ascensionism. I think that is one of the best. And I'm going to throw air quotes on there because everybody says it's not fucking metal, but it's fucking metal, okay? It's fusing different genres. It's one of the best metal songs ever.
Okay, I wrote it down. I'm sure I spelled it close enough that I can Google it. So,
yeah, right. But I'm not gonna be a dead horse with some of the other bands. I've listened to Sleep Token a lot just because I'm reviewing the second album. Periphery has been a mainstay for me. I've listened to 2 new bands or 2 new to me bands. Landmarks just came out a new song, Creature, which is fucking fantastic song. He raps in French and then he does like a quick transition into screams, and it is fucking awesome. Awesome.
He raps in French.
Yeah, they're a French band.
Oh.
But he
Okay.
raps. The rap portion is in.
That makes it less comical. I thought it was like an American band that just raps in French for some reason. That's why I was just so confused. Like, what?
So he raps in French, and then he hits a breakdown, and then he goes. It's like a quick transition. It's smooth as butter transition into English vocals, and it's fucking fantastic. And then the other band I've been listening to is Unprocessed, which, if you are a huge fan of Polyphia, this is going to be a band that you are going to want to check out. The only difference is Unprocessed has vocals, whereas Polyphia does not have vocals. But I've been listening to the shit out of Unprocessed. As far as playing, I've been playing Spider-Man 2. Not going to beat that dead horse. I'm slowly trying to fucking make my way through that game. And Persona 5 Royal, sir. Persona 5 Royal. I don't know if we have talked about it here recently, but we are doing a deep dive into Persona 5 Royal, okay? So we are in the midst of preparing for episode 1. I'm not entirely sure how the release schedule is going to go for it. I don't know whether I'm doing weekly, bi-weekly. I'll probably end up doing like bi-weekly episodes. But I'm not entirely sure. It really depends on how quick I can get through the first couple parts of the game. But I'm not gonna lie, okay? Not gonna lie here. Not gonna lie. Y'all said it was slow at the very beginning, and I don't think you fucking hit that home as much as you should have because it's fucking slow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's typical JRPG. You know, it's super fucking slow at the beginning because, you know, they're not giving you everything. And I'm like, bro, just let me go. Let me go.
Yeah,
Okay, let's learn some shit.
They're not giving you anything. That's why it seems like such a slog, because it's just they're giving you a lot of information and you're meeting a lot of key factor characters. But again, the world is so deep and each character relationship gets so deep that they have to. You just have to slog through it for about 10 hours.
Yeah, so I've finally hit that point where I don't want to quit playing it. I put, I want to say, probably about 3 hours into it yesterday, which I would say that it took me a month and a half, maybe 2 months to play 2 hours. So I'm finally getting the groove here, sir.
Let me just do some quick maths.
I'm about 7 hours into it right now.
Oh, okay. All right. You picked up the pace then.
Okay,
I was going to say, in that case, we'll do the deep dive in 2020 based on
right?
the hours to month ratio we've got going there. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, that ratio has shifted now, sir. I'm taking down the first palace. I think I
How
just
many?
learned about. Do what?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying I just learned a new mechanic. Fuck, what was it? I don't even remember what the new mechanic was, but I'm fighting one of the. I just fought one of the I guess elite enemies in there. It was the first
Mm-hmm.
one.
Oh, right, right.
So I just fought him, and I think that's where I ended last night.
Okay.
So I think I have like 8 days left to fucking do it out of the 15 or 14 that it gave me.
Is that the first trip you've made into the palace?
Yes.
Okay. Um, keep going to the palace till you beat the palace, regardless of how many days are left. Just a freebie teaser, helpful hit
Well,
there.
I was looking at some non-spoiler tips online, and it said something along the lines of palace first, characters second. So if you get a palace, tackle it as quickly as possible, and then go deal with the characters
Yes,
in
that way
between.
you're not stressed to do it later on. Pretty much, yep.
Yeah. And then also it helps build relationships as well.
It most certainly does. And the
Which
reason they say that is because like you just said, the actual combat experience furthers your relationship with the characters, but also once you beat the palace, nothing changes in the story until you get to the expiration date. So you literally your free time is your free time. You have nothing to worry about until then.
Oh, okay. So I'm making my notes as we go. Okay, I'm
Mhm.
doing the deep dive series a little bit differently. I'm typing my notes up
Excuse
as
me.
we go. Whereas in previous deep dives, I've kind of just played it and then did notes afterwards. And I'm hoping that makes for better content this time around. And you told me to make character notes, and I do. I am. I'm making notes about every single character or all the main characters, and it's interesting because I remember you saying this is like final. This is like a Fire Emblem a little bit in terms of the relationships, and up until 2.5, 3 hours ago, I was like, I don't know, man. Was Chris wrong here?
This is
Are
nothing
we
like
playing the
Fire
same
Emblem.
game? Are we playing the same game here? Because old fucking dude who what's his name? Shit. I pull his fucking name up real quick because I don't fucking forgot
Ryuji?
it. Sojiro.
Oh yeah, Sakura, Sojiro.
That dude's a fucking asshole, and I have notes here. I'm like, dude's a fucking dick. He needs to go fuck himself. And now we're starting to get that relationship. I'm like, okay, he's not as bad. He just wants to fuck other women. That's all he wants to do. Okay, like he's just fucking horny, and he hasn't been getting any, and that's why he's all pissed off.
Yeah, essentially. I
Yeah,
mean,
for the most part.
yeah. I'm keeping all of my comments to a bare ass minimum because I'm letting you get it out now. I cannot wait to watch the evolution of your opinion for all of these characters because it is a lot like Fire Emblem. You will hate some, and then you'll be like, "Wow, you're my favorite character now," and I never would have saw that coming. And then some, at face value, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, sweet, this is a cool party member. Can't wait to spend more time with them." And then 2 hours later, you're like, "Well, you're probably just the most vanilla human being I've ever interacted with in my entire life." So I'm good.
It honestly, when I'm playing it, I'm like, man, I really want to play Fire Emblem right now. Like I'm fucking getting that motherfucking itch, dog.
Yeah, it's a lot like that. I mean, except for instead of tea parties, you have public outings. That's the only difference. But the whole the conversation based development system, it's pretty much a mirror image, but better, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I'm loving it now, and I'm excited to continue with the deep dive series there, sir. Gonna be a lot of fun, a lot of fun. But like I said, it makes me want to play Fire Emblem, sir. I'm trying to fight that itch. All right, so yeah. Mm.
Yeah,
What, did I
it's a
play
matter.
it?
Well, possibly, but it's a matter of time that the itch will shift. The itch will
The itch will
definitely shift. Yes.
will it shift to the gooch?
Scratch it if you need to. Go do a battle or two. But yes, it will move. It will move north to the gooch soon enough.
Any other games you've been playing other than Persona 5 and Final Fantasy 7?
No, that's pretty much it. I've been Final Fantasy VII Remake by night when I can, and Persona 5 during the day when I can. I
Like a
haven't really
true
been able to play.
superhero.
Haven't been able to play much of anything in the last couple of weeks, but that's what I have been doing. So
I got you. So, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth is coming out in a few weeks, coming out February 29th, if I'm not mistaken. So I think this is a good time to recap Final Fantasy 7 Remake, give our thoughts and opinions on it, kind of tell everybody how we feel about it. I'm mostly interested in hearing what Chris has to say about it because, like I said, he's been playing it. So, Chris, I'll let you have the floor, and then we can talk about. Actually, you know what? Let me recap it first, and then we'll give your thoughts and opinions on it.
go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So, Final Fantasy VII Remake is the action RPG released April 10th, 2020. For those that remember, that came out during COVID, the dreaded C word. That was
Shame. You can't
that
say that here.
game. Yeah, you're right. It came after. Did I buy it? No, I bought it before. I bought it before The Last of Us 2. That's right. I got the deluxe edition of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Those fucking 3 years were crazy. Okay, but anyways, first game in a trilogy of games that is the retelling of the story of the OG Final Fantasy VII game that came out in 1997. So Cloud Strife is a former member of Soldier, the elite warriors of the Shinra Electric Power Company. Shinra uses Mako, a refined form of the planet's spiritual energy, harvested by massive reactors, to power the metropolis of Midgar and develop cutting-edge technology. Disillusioned with Shinra, and at the request of his childhood friend Tina Lockhart, Cloud takes a mercenary job for Avalanche, an eco-terrorist organization led by Barrett Wallace. Barrett believes excessive Mako harvesting harms the planet, leading to a bombing attack on a Mako reactor. And in the aftermath, Cloud is haunted by memories of Sephiroth, a former soldier member, and meets the florist Aerith around the same time. Strange ghost-like entities who alternately help and hinder Cloud throughout the game cause him to be recruited for another attack in which he goes missing in action. Cloud meets Aerith again and protects her from Shinra forces. After they reunite with Tifa, the trio learns that Shinra plans to collapse a piece of the plate onto the Sector 7 slums. Avalanche fails to stop Shinra's plan, and the plate falls. None of this is spoilers for you, correct?
Mm-mm. No. Like I
Okay.
said, I'm almost to the end game. So
All right. So Aerith helps most of the population and Barrett's daughter, Marlene, evacuate in time, but is captured by Shinra. Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett infiltrate Shinra headquarters and rescue Aerith from being used as an experiment by a Shinra scientist. She reveals that she is the last descendant of the Cetra, a near extinct precursor race who resided in a promised land where Shinra covets for its boundless Mako reserves. The group meets a talking feline-like creature called Red 13, who explains that the ghostly entities are called Whispers. They exist to ensure that the course of destiny is not altered by correcting any deviations from this course. Meanwhile, Sephiroth infiltrates Shinra and steals a mysterious entity known as Genova, connected to the extinction of the Cetra. Trying to make sure I don't say anything that's gonna spoil anything for you.
Oh, dude. Seriously, you're good. You can recap the game. I mean, I from watching the preview for the second one, I had a lot of crap in game spoiled for me anyway. So it's my fault. I didn't finish it in time.
Okay. In a confrontation at the top of Shinra headquarters, Sephiroth murders the president of Shinra. Shinra's son, Rufus, assumes control of the company and fights Cloud, but is defeated. Cloud and his allies flee the scene via the Midgar Expressway, but find Sephiroth waiting for them at the end. Now, have you seen this part? Have you gone to the other realm?
No, not
Okay.
in the game. I've
I'm
seen, like I said, I've seen it, but I haven't done it in my game. No.
Okay. I'm actually not going to recap any of that. Okay. So
Okay.
basically, they go down the expressway, and Sephiroth is waiting for them on this road, and that kind of takes you to the climax of the story. Shout out. So yeah, if you have not played the end of that game, definitely go play it before you play Rebirth. Obviously. Now, what do you think of Final Fantasy VII Remake?
I've loved it so far. I've got about 23, 24 hours into it, and I say I'm at the end game. I'm not. I've got 4 chapters left, but I'm right at the point that's going to start the downhill slide into the end game. So I've essentially done everything in the 3 sectors that I'm going to do up to this point, or nothing I can really do past this point. I've side quested out, and I'm just pretty much ready to progress the story. But what I have seen so far is 14 out of 17 chapters, and I've loved every minute of it. You can definitely tell, and I think it was a developmental marketing genius move what they did, releasing the first of this series before putting the finishing touches on Final Fantasy 16, because you can definitely tell the inspiration that 16 drew from their action RPG transition into the Final Fantasy 7 remake. It's very similar. 16 is exponentially better because they fixed the bugs and they added new elements that, well, some of them you couldn't have done in the 7 remake because of the story blocks that they had written themselves into. But like I said, you can just definitely tell that the 7 remake was used as a transitionary tool into the development of 16. So I'm curious to see. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. We're going to talk about it, I'm sure, but I'm curious to see what they take from what they changed in 7 Remake into 16, and then how it continues to translate into Rebirth. But 7 Remake as a standalone itself, I've absolutely loved it so far. I'm very attached to the entirety of the character base. I think there were some characters that you didn't get enough of. Um, there's not really a character in particular that I'm tired of. I mean, I could tell Barrett to shut the hell up like once every 10 minutes and move on with my life, but I don't hate him as a character. He's just loud and obnoxious, but every game in the installment has one of those. You got to get your Waka somewhere, right?
Right.
Um, the pacing is good. I mean, it just seems like one nonstop story. Um, obviously, the graphic upgrade into the remake is just decades ahead of itself because Final Fantasy VII was released 3 decades ago. I mean, it's complete and utter remake. It's a whole different game. I don't remember much from the original Final Fantasy VII, and I'm honestly happy about that because I feel like I've taken this as just a brand new game with a brand new storyline. The only thing familiar about it is character names. So, yeah, it's been
So
a really fun playthrough.
You played the OG game?
I never finished it. I was a kid when I tried to play it. I think I got maybe halfway through like disc 2, but I remember nothing about it.
So I remember this game was weird for me. Okay, if you've been following the podcast for any length of time, I have talked about this game on the show. Okay, the C word happened back in, was it 21? I think, or was it 20? I can't remember.
20.
I can't remember what year I got the C word. Okay, and no, I'm not talking about chlamydia. That we can say that word on here. We can't say the other C word.
That was in 2011. I remember that.
Right. I got that fixed. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I was cured.
We drove to the doctor together, man. Come on.
So I had played a majority of the game up until the point that I got sick. And while I was in bed, basically withering away and fucking feel like I was dying, I decided it was a good idea to fucking play Final Fantasy VII Remake. And it is single hand. It is the most. It is the worst decision I have ever made in my life. Okay, I've made lots of bad decisions. It was a bad decision because my view of Remake is tainted by what I experienced while I was sick.
Yeah.
I could not have cared less about that game while I was playing it. It was like I was just going through the fucking motions of playing it, and I was just like, let me fucking finish it, man. Like I was trying to fucking finish it so quickly that it was detrimental to my view of the game. But before that point, really loved the game. Obviously, it wasn't a perfect game by any means. I think that the story seemed a little stretched out a little bit for the runtime. Like maybe we could have trimmed the fat a little bit and probably had a better overall experience. Some of the side quests and whatnot just seemed kind of, I don't know, not as fulfilling to me. And then one of the other big things was I'm a huge complainer of walking simulators. And for the love of God, this game is not as bad as Death Stranding, apparently, but we did a lot of goddamn walking and talking. And I'm like, dude, this could just be a cutscene, okay? Why do I have to hold the goddamn trigger down to fucking go forward, okay? Just let me watch it. Just let me watch it, okay? So, walking simulator aspects, huge issue for that. Huge issue for the game for me in that regard. And then there weren't loading screens, but they replaced them with, when you would go through a wall and he'd scoot past it, that's the loading screen. They bamboozled us, okay?
Which is why that part is so annoying. When you were talking about walking simulators, I was thinking in my head like the actual walking and talking didn't bother me because I'm so wrapped up in the story and the characters, but whenever he has to squeeze his ass through a wall and it's like 25 feet, it's not just like 4 feet, and he goes at the speed of smell. Like that aggravates the shit out of me. I didn't even realize that was a loading screen until you just told me that. I just thought we're taking 10 fucking years to get through this little crevasse when we could just dodge roll through it one time.
Nope, that's their weird way of, we don't have loading screens. Okay, but I have to squeeze through this goddamn wall every fucking 5 seconds.
I appreciate the gesture and the sentimentality, but just give me a loading screen and let it be done with. At least then I can like check my phone and see if anybody tried to call me while I'm waiting. Like so
Exactly.
dumb.
Exactly. So overall, I like the game. I think I ended up giving it like I think an 8 was good. Like it's like a 7.5 to an 8. I can't remember what score I actually gave the game. But it was the ending really. I didn't do it. I did a disservice to the game by playing it when I was sick. But with that being said, I'm excited about Rebirth, which comes out February 29th of this year. So we're a little more than a month away from it. It sets immediately after Remake. Cloud Strife and friends band together and embark on a journey across the planet to prevent the megacorporation Shinra from exploiting its life essence, the life stream, as an energy source, and defeat former elite soldier Sephiroth, who intends on uniting with the planet to achieve greater power. When I recap that or give you the synopsis for the game, I realize that it really doesn't tell you anything. It just kind of just tells you the same shit that the first game told you. But they're kind of keeping the story under wraps. So let me ask you this. No spoilers. I just need a yes or a no answer, okay? If you had played the OG Final Fantasy VII game, then you will know the answer to this. If you haven't, you may know the answer. I don't know. But that's why I want to do just yes or no. Do you know what happens to a certain character. Okay. Unfortunately, I do too. It got fucking spoiled to me, and I'm fucking pissed off about it. Some people are saying that this may or may not happen. They may change it altogether. So, interesting to say the
Interesting.
least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hadn't even considered that a possibility. I just assumed when I got into this that that's going to happen because it happened. So,
What would be interesting is if they change characters.
they better fucking not.
If they do, I will raise hell.
I won't. I won't play the third one. I just won't do it. I just won't do it. I mean, I'm sorry. There's only one TL, bro, and don't fucking talk like that.
Right? I'm fucking pissed off, bitch.
Now I'm mad. I just got on blood pressure medicine yesterday, primo.
So let's talk about Rebirth for a second, and let's talk about how excited we are for that particular game. One big change for Rebirth in comparison to Remake is the game is more open than Remake, which I am 100% there for. I think you brought up the fact that 16 in comparison to Remake. I think while 16 is very much a linear game, very much so, I think that 7 Remake is more linear than 16. And it's almost detrimental, to be honest with you. I think it's just the fact that it's like it's heavy on story, but it's not heavy on story. I don't know if that makes any sense. It just seems like there's this big centralized plot point that they stretch out over fucking 30, 40 hours, and it may not necessarily need that much time to be devoted to this one particular thing. I mean,
Sure.
hell, in the OG game, the Midgar stuff was only like a small portion of the game. Like it wasn't like you weren't there very long. But the map is broken up into several different sections. They did that for like UI purposes. But you can supposedly travel freely between the areas whenever you want. The director of the game described Remake as a narrative-based game, which makes sense, I think. While Rebirth is more exploration rather than narrative. So we're gonna see. Like the pendulum swings one way to the other here.
That's bold for for the second part of a trilogy to be that different from the actual layout of how you play through it. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it because again, I'm already invested, but that's a bold move.
Have you watched the Halloween trilogy, the new one that just came out recently? Okay.
With like 50-year-old Jamie Lee Curtis, like the new one.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen those.
Yes. So I'm hoping I'm wrong with this, but this is what I'm going to compare it to because it's the only thing recently that I can compare it to. I have a feeling that it is going to be like that trilogy. And it is because they are telling a story that needed to be, I don't know, we can say 2 games or in regards to the Halloween trilogy, maybe 2 movies. And when you stretch that thing out over fucking 3 movies or 3 games, it fucking kind of hinders it a lot. So I'm hoping that's not the case for this particular trilogy. When it goes from narrative to exploration.
Yeah, that is a concern. Like again, Final Fantasy as a franchise has only let me down once or twice. And it wasn't even huge letdowns. Part of that is apparently my problem upon talking to other people. But that's really not even my biggest worry. It is a worry of mine. But again, I think the execution will be good enough that it'll not only still be playable, but it may be an enjoyable shift. I don't know. Like you said, the remake was very linear, and it didn't really, I wouldn't say it bothered me, but at times I do feel like that cutscenes robbed me of combatable moments, so if it's more like if it's a shift for balance, I'm good with it, but if it's a shift because What game were we talking about? It was when we were doing the Bioshock deep dive. We were talking about how the shift from the first game to the second game was just overcompensation from the developers on everything the fans bitched about. I hope that's not what we're getting. I hope it's not a fine. Well, they bitched about this, so let's overcorrect it. That way we can bitch about the over exploration and unnecessary roaming you have to do going into the third game, you know? But if, again, if it's just a slight corrective shift, bring it on. I'm confident in that.
Well, I'm going to follow that up with this next statement. Okay, these two things I'm about to drop on y'all. So the director came out and said that 80% of this game is side content to help build relationships between the characters, and the other 20% is the main storyline. So when you push that with the fact that it is a more explorative style game in comparison to a narrative based game, kind of worries me a little bit that the main story is going to be bare bones. But according to the director, the main story is going to be approximately 40 hours long. So I'm like, that is pretty good. You know, that's a pretty decent fucking main storyline.
That's still pretty beefy for a PS5 game, yeah.
Yeah, and they said 100% it, you're gonna have to do over 100 hours.
Take my money.
Right?
You know, like, so take my money.
So I'm there with you. Like, I'm kind of concerned, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm still gonna fucking play it. Don't get me fucking wrong. But
I'm using a week of vacation so I could stay home alone and play it.
That'd be fucking nice.
I am. I've already put in for it. Like,
oh damn, bro.
Yeah, the first week of March, I'm off, and that's why.
I respect it. I respect it, man. So, a couple of the things that, and this is probably the thing that I'm actually kind of most excited about, but I'm gonna try to hold back my excitement a little bit and kind of temper expectations a little bit because I feel like it's not gonna be that huge of a mechanic in the game. Apparently, there's an affinity system that, like, the more side quests you do, the more your relationship gets built with those characters, and kind of gives you different scenes depending on your affinity with that particular character. So it's almost kind of like, okay, well, if you want to get the most out of this game, then you're 100% going to need to do the side content. And to me, side quests have always been, in most games, the side content is always like it feels like a chore sometimes, more so than anything. The Witcher 3, you could probably say no, like there's actually some very good side quests. Spider-Man 2 so far has some great side quests in it to explore their characters and whatnot, which to me, that is what side content should be, is to further expand on your character. This to me, if I get different scenes with my characters based on the side content that I do with those characters, I think that is a great way to reward me for doing that type of shit.
I agree.
And it will make me want to.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. They kind of did that in 16. Do you remember the 15 side quests you had to do right before you launched the main final mission? It was all closing out relationships.
Yes. Hey, you're at the end of the game, but here's like 7 hours of fucking side content for you to go through.
They weren't paced well. I'm not going to argue that. They definitely weren't paced well. It was crammed in because they didn't have any more room to stretch them out. Shout out. Yeah.
Jinx on my coat.
All right. Put it on my tab. But again, I think they learned a lot in what everybody liked from Final Fantasy 16, so I'm hoping that inspiration and development in general gets carried over. Because, I mean, we don't even got to get started on how good that game was.
Yeah, really love that game. I don't know what game would have won my game of the year last year. Spider-Man 2, I haven't fucking finished it yet, so I can't really give opinions on that. But like Final Fantasy 16 and then Tears of the Kingdom, I don't know.
I would have probably voted for 16. And I say that as the Nintendroid that is ashamed to say it because Tears of the Kingdom was so long awaited, and I put like 150 hours into it, but I probably still would have voted for Final Fantasy 16. I didn't play Spider-Man 2. I didn't play Baldur's Gate. I didn't play. What was the other big one?
Diablo.
Diablo. Yeah, so my vote wouldn't have counted for that much. But of those two, I would have picked 16.
I think I would have went 16. Like, that shit got me fucking excited. Like, when I was at home, at work, I wanted to be home and playing that game because I wanted the next fucking dope cinematic scene.
Dude, it was the first game in probably 10 years that made me pull an all-nighter one time because I didn't want to stop playing it. Now,
yeah.
Saturday fucking sucked. The next day was horrible. Like, absolutely terrible. But it was like 2:30 in the morning, and I was like, everybody's going to be awake in 4 hours anyway. What the hell? I'll drink coffee.
I drink coffee.
Yeah. So good.
So two little more tidbits about Rebirth. Charlie is back in this one. The old research dude. He's going to help you obtain additional summons throughout the game. And then lots and lots of mini games, apparently, including Chocobo Racing, where you can actually give your Chocobo stat-boosted gear.
6 to midnight, bro. Just went from 6 to midnight. Give me 20 hours worth of mini games. Can't even wait.
And apparently they're keeping it tight-lipped right now. But apparently there's a card game, a deck building game that's in the game. I'm like, say less.
Yeah, say less. Say less.
Like, I'm all you have to do is say deck building game, and I'm fucking like, I'm full Monty. I'm fucking ready to go.
Dude, it's gonna take me 6 months to play this game on my PlayStation, but I don't even care. It's oh man, I'm so pumped. So absolutely.
Hey, by
pumped.
the way, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink comes out in a week. Super fucking excited about that. Lots of people are fucking loving that game, man. Like, the scores haven't come out, but I've seen general impressions and shit like that, and people fucking love it.
What consoles?
I think it's all of them.
Oh, Switch too?
Now that I say that, I'm not 100% sure.
Oh.
Let me.
If it's portable, I'll buy it and play it day one. But I'm not gonna buy it if it's only big console, because at the end of February, whatever I'm doing, I'm not doing anymore anyway. So.
Honestly, it may be a PlayStation exclusive.
Oh,
now
seriously?
that I'm thinking about it.
That's interesting.
It's scheduled. Yep. PlayStation 4 and 5, and then Windows.
Trash.
Womp, womp, womp. Trash.
Straight trash.
But yeah, I have it pre-ordered. I'm ready to fucking play that shit, because that looks like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Final Fantasy mixed with some like Sword Art Online anime looking shit. 100% there for it.
The actual aesthetic and appeal of the game is why I instantly thought that's going to be on the Switch too, because it has to be. I'm so surprised that it's not.
Wait for the Switch 2, sir. Wait for the Switch 2.
Yeah. Probably be another $500 I got to drop. God damn it.
Speaking of which, I haven't watched the trailer yet because I just haven't had time. But Hellblade 2 has a release date in May. Dude, I'm so fucking excited to play that game. I know you already said that you're gonna have to wait, but we're gonna have to borrow each other's Xbox here.
I guess, yeah. I'm just gonna have to rent it from you whenever you're done for like a week. I'll send my wife and kids on a camping trip for a few days so I can just clear up my schedule.
It is like probably like we didn't know for sure if it was coming out this year. We kind of assumed, but I mean, we've been assuming for like the last 2 fucking years with that game. I know Rebirth is on top of my most anticipated list. There's another game coming out. I can't fucking think of it. Obviously, it can't be that fucking big, right? Grand Blue Fantasy, and there's another one. I can't fucking think of it. But when they got announced date for this one, for Hellblade 2, dude, it's like my most anticipated one. 100%.
I mean, yeah, it looks good. It looks really cool. At the very least, I'm going to watch somebody play it start to finish, because I have to know how that series pans out. But man, that first game was incredible.
I ought to do a Let's Play series on it.
You should. I was
Yeah.
suggesting it that,
But
hoping you would
but
pick up on what
Xbox
I
is
was throwing
weird.
down.
Xbox is weird with recording, so I'm gonna have to get a capture card beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, let's dive into our weekly recommendations before we close out this episode, sir. What do you recommend to the fine people out there?
Oh wait, okay, just one more thought, if we got time, on the Rebirth, because I was going to mention this earlier and then I forgot about it. I have one concern with it. It's according to the developer, you do not have to play Remake to understand what's going on in Rebirth. I don't like that, because that means I'm either going to get 5 hours at the beginning of the game doing simulation walkthrough tutorial shit that's going to be like flashbacks from the first game, or you're going to incrementally drop tidbits of the story throughout the story that's going to slow me down in the second playthrough. So that's actually a turnoff for me. I want to know. I was
I
kind of
didn't hear
curious
that.
as to what you thought about that.
I did not hear that or see that anywhere, and I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I think that's... Look, if you are going to make a sequel to a game, a direct sequel, like continues the same fucking story, we're not talking like Call of Duty 30 versus Call of Duty 31 or whatever the
Right.
fuck, we're not talking about that kind of shit, okay?
Now
Or
77.
even like Final Fantasy 16 versus Final Fantasy 7 15, like what the fuck are we doing, guys? Why are we recapping a direct sequel? If you want to play Rebirth and you want to know the story, go fucking play Remake.
Yep. Just go do it. That's same exact thought. Same exact headspace. Making sure I wasn't an
Now,
asshole, though.
the only thing that I could see, and then I would be okay with them doing this, is if at the very beginning of the game you have an option to recap Remake.
Oh, I hadn't considered that, yeah.
And that it actually goes through the story, and it's just you watching it. That's all it is you just watch it. And it's 5 to 10 minutes long. It recaps the entire game, and then it goes directly into the game. And you could say yes or no to getting that recap. I think that is the best way to go about that. But something tells me that they're not going to do that.
That would be the best way. You're 100% right, and I do hope that's, even if it's not optional, if that's the opening scene to the game, I'd still be all right with that. If it's 10 minutes and then it's over with and then I'm in the second game, I'd be fine with that. All right, only other one. There are whispers that even the people working within the studio have reveled in the success of this trilogy so far. That they are apparently age appropriate, and while they want to continue furthering the franchise with new material, they want to stay in the remake market. And the current whispers that have leaked out that I've found are for 10. So
I knew where you were going with this, and I'm like, ooh.
So what would that do for 10 for you? Would it make it better? Because to me, it's still the best game ever made. So, I want it remade because it's going to give me another reason to go back to Spira, even though it's going to be like 8 years from now. It'd probably be for the game's 30th anniversary, I guess, before they release the first installment. But at the same time, do I want that to take away from the nostalgia I feel when I still go back and play it in its OG form?
I would absolutely... I mean, I don't think I really have a choice not to play it, considering I fucking have a gaming podcast, so I'm probably tied to it regardless. But dude, top 10 game all time for me. Absolutely, I have the fondest memories of that deep dive series. It's my favorite deep dive series that we've done so far. Now Lord of the Rings is getting different mediums, so I can't really compare the two, apples to oranges. But that is my favorite deep dive that we have done so far is Final Fantasy X. To do a Final Fantasy X remake and play that all the way through with a fresh coat of paint and all
action RPG style. I mean, it would be.
Look,
if they did it, it would have to be at this point.
People talk shit about the turn-based games.
Hmm.
I don't mind it. I actually kind of I love turn-based games.
Yeah, me too.
To me, I love strategy games a lot. I mean, hell, we've already kind of mentioned it, but Fire Emblem Three Houses, strategy game, tactical strategy. I love the turn-based aspect of that game. Pokemon, as much as I give it shit, turn-based aspect of it, really fucking love it. Okay, so I love turn-based aspects. What would be awesome, and they're probably not going to do it, but if they had the balls and the time to do it, I'd be willing to pay $10 more for it. Just saying, is if they did both.
Both. Like before you start
Yeah.
playing, you pick which style you want, or you can shift it on
Yes.
and off throughout the game as you play it.
No. I would say the easiest thing to do is pick what style you want. This gives you replay value now.
That's
Also,
true.
what style do you want to play? Do you want to play turn based or do you want to play action? And you can play the entire game in both, but you can't switch it
Hmm.
in between.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
I
with
feel
you.
like I feel like that would be a development nightmare.
Well, it's just two separate
To
games at that point. Yeah, it's just two separate
exactly.
games.
I personally would want it to be turn based
Okay. Yeah, I was just
because
curious. It.
I mean, what do you think? I mean, could you imagine fighting any of those bosses just doing action RPG? I mean, it's just I don't know. It takes away from the
I couldn't
goodness.
until I started playing Final Fantasy VII. As much as I enjoyed Final Fantasy 16, I don't think I fully took advantage of elemental damage in action RPG because I just wasn't accustomed to it, so I probably didn't use it as much as I wanted to or should have. But I've really upped my magic game in the Final Fantasy VII remake, so I think it could be done, really. And some of the bosses would definitely be trickier than others, and they would have to nerf some of them because their abilities are based around time magic. Obviously, you have to eliminate that as a factor, which would be a hurt for me because that's my favorite part of the Final Fantasy X combat system is the time magic and the turn wheel. But I don't know. I think I'd be willing to give it a shot, man. Like I really because I've just haven't I've had so much fun with 16 and Final Fantasy 7 remake. I've really adapted to the combat. It's still not safe to say that I prefer action RPG over turn-based JRPG. I don't. I'm still old school, but I have put so much time into Final Fantasy X that I don't know. I think it would be refreshing to just give it a complete reboot and try it out as an action RPG. You couldn't do Blitzball. That would have to go. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any way they could translate that into a real-time sport. I mean, it'd be like playing FIFA in the pool,
And
you know.
look, I never thought I would say this, like 2 years ago, but you can't get rid of Blitzball.
Yeah, that would be something they would have to figure out. I mean, because again, I mean, it's technically a mini game, but it's also pivotal to the story at points. So I don't know. I'd be there for it. I trust the studio. I have full faith in the franchise, and whatever they decide to do or not do, I would still try out and give it a shot. But I don't know, man. Just giving that game a makeover, I just couldn't wait to. It's tickling my funny bits just thinking about the character makeovers. Honestly.
Right? I can't imagine watching the scene with now graphics, modern
Yes.
graphics.
Oh, right. The scene.
Hey, did you ever see that TikTok video that I made with that scene? Did I ever share it with you?
I think you did. I do. I think you did. I can't
When
remember it off the top of my head. But I remember seeing something
when
about it.
when he's after he's done, I fucking love it in here. I fucking love it.
Yeah. Oh God.
Which, by the way, guys, down below we have in our description we have links to our Patreon. You can go there and support us if you want. We'd greatly appreciate it. Also to our merch, as well as all of our social media accounts: TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, all that shit. You can catch clips of this episode and more on our TikTok. So go there and hit the follow button. Like, subscribe on YouTube, do all that bullshit. Like I said, really helps us out, and we'd greatly appreciate it. All right, sir. Weekly recommendation. What you got?
Um. I'm going to continue to beat this dead horse because I'm going to back Christian with it. Back Christian up with it. Eminence and Shadow. There's 2 seasons fully dubbed now. I don't know where they're at besides High Dive, but I know they're both on High Dive. Watch that show. Anybody who likes anime at all and has a twisted sense of humor, just watch it. You'll love it. I don't need to explain it. It's just that good. It's probably top 5 for me now.
Fair. Damn, fair enough.
I haven't done the list in a while, but if it's not top 5, it's at least 6 or 7. It's close. Very close.
It's close. So I'm actually going to recommend I'm the band guy around here. Unprocessed is going to be who I recommend, and their album and everything in between. I'm pissed off at myself because I didn't catch this until the very end of December. I had listened to it a couple of times. I was like, that's good. I don't know if it's going to be something that I'm going to listen to on a regular basis. So I didn't really give it a whole lot of time before I did my top 10 episode for the albums of the year. This should have been in my top 10.
Okay.
Should have been in my top 10 for 2023. Fucking disappointed in myself. I feel like a failure, but it is what it is. Okay. I can't listen to everything. It's very... I can't even fucking describe it. Polyphia is the best description I can give it for them, but it has vocals, it has screams. It's more cleans than it is screams, though. It's heavy. It's very bassy, very bassy. It has like little, it has lots of jazz elements to it, which is fucking dope, by the way. So I don't know. Just go give it a shot. Unprocessed. All right, sir.
Spelled just like it sounds?
Yep, like unprocessed meat.
Just the same word. All right, sometimes people do all cutesy and finagly things with their band names. I was just making sure it was just the word.
Like Landmarks, who I talked about earlier. LANDMV
What? Yes, That's why I checked.
I'm sure there's a band that already has Landmarks, and they couldn't use it, so they just flipped the A and made it whatever. Fucking whatever.
I appreciate it.
That little explanation. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate you joining me, sir.
Absolutely, man. Had a good time.
Absolutely, man. Good times all around. Now I have to go record this Sleep Token review. So if y'all are interested in the Sleep Token review, patreon.com/2game. That's how you get access to that exclusive podcast. But that's going to be it from us, and we will catch y'all next week on another episode. Laters.
Later, guys.